Observing thought is quite a popular topic on this channel. And you know what? I understand why. It is quite a profound practice to invite into your life. And the more you do it, it becomes more than just a practice. It becomes a way of being, it becomes a way of life. It's a meditation. Meditation isn't necessarily something you do. Meditation is a state of being. You can be in a meditative state. And that's why in today's video, I will be sharing 3 lessons that I've learned from observing thought. Not just observing thought, but observing the emotions that arise within my body, observing the mind, and observing the body. Now, this topic was suggested by a subscriber. This is their question. How long did it take for you to get good at observing thought and being in the present moment? I've been practicing it for 2 months now, and it's been a struggle remembering to observe thoughts. Thank you, Bree Arnold. It's a great question. This brings me to the first lesson that I want to share with you about how observing thoughts has impacted my life, the lessons that I've learned from observing thought. And the first one is that I've learned how to meet myself where I currently am, in the here and in the now. The idea that one must be good at observing thoughts, it's all the mind. It's all judgment. This idea that you need to reach something, that you need to be somewhere other than you are right now. That causes frustration. That causes this need to rush. It creates this habit of being somewhere other than where you are right now. But when you are in this state of meditation, when you are observing the mind, you're meeting yourself where you are, not where you should be. You see, that word should takes you out of the present moment. You know, there's an understanding that within the mind, we might create this goal of what we would want to look like or feel like. But there's also a balance, right? With meeting ourselves where we currently are in this moment. Releasing this idea that you must be good at it. You see, to be good at something means there's judgment going on within the mind. That means there's a lot of activity going on, right? So if you think about the mind, right? When I usually say, right, when there's judgment going on, it's too much mind. And what I mean by mind is that the brain, there's activity going on in the brain. That's what the mind is, in short. The mind is the activity within the brain. And so when you're concerned about being good at meditation, you're not allowing yourself to be in a state of relaxation. That's what meditation is. You're relaxing into the moment, relaxing into the flow, becoming one with the moment, right? So my suggestion for you is to drop this idea of needing to be good at it. Drop all expectations. Drop this idea that you will experience this mystical experience. Observe how the ego wants to so badly be enlightened, because the ego thinks that enlightenment will make it superior to all the other egos in the world. That mentality, that state of mind is what is going to continue to feed the frustration. It's going to continue to feed this mind activity. There's no state of rest. There's no relaxing into the present moment. There's no relaxing into the flow. Meet yourself where you currently are. If you feel these feelings of anxiety arise, acknowledge that it's there. It's not a matter of feeding it, not a matter of believing it, just feeling it. That's it. Feeling it, observing it, and watch it fade away. That's it. You're meeting yourself where you currently are. Like down below if that's something that you have learned from observing the mind, or if that's something you didn't know that you could learn. It's funny because meditation, being in a meditative state, it will show you, it'll mirror in your life, you know, how that practice is influencing you. So that in your outside world, not just during I would say, for example, if you observe the mind in the traditional way, right, in meditation, and then when you go out into the world, right, You're more aware of when you feel this need to rush. You're more aware when you feel this need to have a mystical experience. You're more aware of when there's judgment within the mind. And that's what sitting back in observation can help you do. Number 2, the second lesson that I've learned when it comes to observing thought, observing the mind, observing the body, is that the reward is immediate. You mentioned that you've been doing it for 2 months and sometimes you forget. Hey, you know what? First of all, it's okay. You don't need to always remember. It's okay, drop that. Because if you hold on to this need to remember and then you guilt yourself and you shame yourself, guess what? Too much mind, too much brain activity, no relaxation. Forgive yourself, let go, step into the present moment. Just know that the reward is immediate. When it comes to observing the mind, what you're doing is you're putting your awareness, you're bringing yourself to this expanded state of awareness where you're at a vantage point where all you're doing is observing your thoughts and your emotions. You're in this place where you know for certain that these thoughts and these emotions, they cannot hurt you. When you're too into the mind, there's a fear. There's this need to run away. So there is no opportunity to be in observation, to practice non-reactivity, right? In the moment, the reward is there. There's no reward in the future. There's no craving for a future moment. Everything is here in the now, the timeless now. The reward is immediate. And if you do not find that the reward is immediate, more than likely you're holding an expectation as to what should be happening. Let that go. Whatever. Who cares? The point is to be there in observation of the mind. To be there to create space. To separate yourself from thought. Separate yourself from emotion. So you're not taking thoughts personal. You're not taking emotions personal. Emotions are just the mirror of thoughts within the body, right? Thoughts, they're just suggestions. Oftentimes thoughts are, these thoughts that we've carried from way in the past. We're experiencing the same thoughts we experienced from elementary school, middle school, high school. That's something I observed within myself. And through allowing myself to, one, meet myself where I currently am, and know with certainty that the reward is in the moment, it's much easier for me in the moment to create space between myself and the thought, between myself and the emotion. And I step back and I know who I am. Simply awareness. If in the simplest terms, right? Words can't fully explain this experience, right? That's why it takes being in this meditative state to feel it for yourself. All right? So remember, the reward is in the moment. When you're in the present moment, you're in the flow. Everything you feel, that reward is in the moment. There's no expectation for future outcome. There's no need to reach a future outcome. Life is fulfilling. You wake up fulfilled. You're feeling the life force energy moving you and guiding you. Yeah, I felt that. I felt that. Comment down below too, what lessons meditation has taught you. Yeah. And if you didn't know, I have a free guided meditation for observing thoughts and emotions fade away. Be sure to check that out. And also, I'm life coaching. If this is something you would like to implement within your life, if this is something that you would like to be a state of being for yourself and learning how to implement that and shifting the way you see yourself and the way you see your outer world, I'm here, baby. Go ahead and check out that application down below. And my third and final lesson that I'd like to share with you all about how observing thought has influenced my life, influenced my perspective, the lesson that observing thought has helped me, is knowing thyself, understanding myself, understanding my patterns. Woo! What a joy. I feel so grateful for that. It's a matter of knowing that when certain thoughts arise, you can know yourself. I know what I'm doing, when I'm in a certain space or I'm about to do a certain activity. I recognize old, outdated patterns that come up within the mind. So due to this practice, due to this meditative state of allowing myself to create space between those thoughts and emotions, I don't believe it immediately. There's a pause before you believe a thought, a pause before you believe this emotion and sink into this emotion and react to that emotion. You know your patterns. Knowing your patterns gives yourself the opportunity to see yourself in a new light. To know that and understand that, wow, thoughts are addicting, number one. And so the mind continues to be addicted to this thought and feed the thought, even when this thought doesn't serve us well. But we have the opportunity with space, with the practice of observing thought, to recognize that thought and choose another experience. Choice. It's a choice. When we're unconscious, it's still a choice, but it's an unconscious choice. We're not aware of it. We're not aware of those unconscious thoughts. We're not aware of those reactive emotional states. We're not aware of those automatic habits. But when you are observing thought, you become aware of it. And you give yourself the opportunity to take action. Action is empowering. When you take action, okay, you see yourself in real time transforming. You're creating new memories for the mind to have this foundation on. You're creating these new amplified feelings, uplifting feelings, intense feelings in the present moment that cancel out those memories from the past that you once identified with, right? Knowing thyself. That is what observing the mind has taught me. That's what observing the mind and the body has taught me. It's taught me and shown me that I am safe in the here and now. That I do have the ability and the awareness to recognize peace amongst the chaos. Notice how I said recognize. Why? Because peace is always there. The safety, that support, it's always there. It's a matter of awareness. It's a matter of space. It's a matter of pausing and observing in non-reactivity. Yeah. Man. It's been a beautiful journey. It's been tough sometimes. Yeah. But you learn how to manage those ups and downs. You know how to approach them, not to run away. Not run away from them, but approach them. I want to remind you that you were made for the life you're living. If you're dealing with these overthinking, you're dealing with feelings of anxiety, you're feeling with this need to rush and be somewhere you're not, I want to let you know you were made for the life that you're living. And you're far greater, far beyond the conditions of your life. And when you wake up every day with the intention to love life, the intention to feel fulfilled, there's no such thing as forgetting. You release the need to be good at something. You choose to, number one, be here with yourself, be here with your current self. Number two, you choose to recognize the reward in the moment because you know the reward is immediate. And number three, you recognize your patterns. You know yourself. When you know yourself, no one can tell you about yourself. When you know yourself, you know how to manage, you know how to approach any challenge. My name is Morcie. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like down below. Let me know, what has meditation taught you? How is that reflected and poured into your daily life? How has it shifted your perspective of the self and of your life situation? I'm sending you peace, I'm sending you love, and I'm sending you clarity.